So today I will be sketching this ancient Greek piece of ancient Greek architecture, which is a porch of caryatids or porch of the maidens, and it's for Easy Sketching Club Art Challenge Week 4, Greece. So I will start with just mapping out my composition. We have a little bit of a perspective here. I'm gonna mark it lightly at the moment just because it's got some damages to it, obviously, so I don't want to have any rigid lines because I want to show a little bit of this damage to do with the age of the piece. So I really like this porch with the maidens representing the columns instead of columns. I think they're very, very nice. So I'm just putting in some stones because it's sketching. I'm not gonna be probably 100% accurate here, but I want to put as much detail as I can in ink, and then it means that I don't need to go very heavy on the watercolor. So I'm just adding some stones here, and there are some steps. Trying to remember that all the horizontal lines will meet in the same spot somewhere on the horizon. So trying to remember about perspective. Some grass at the far edge of the steps. Then there is some stones going in the opposite direction. A little bit of a piece of a wall or something like that. So, and then another thing there is a little bit on the background, is a little bit of a view of Athens in the background. So it's going to be very light there, so I'm not going to put too much info in there. A little greenery and some more stones here at the front. And then I'll start with the ornaments there at the top. Again, a little bit of a damaged stones. Some ornaments there. Which I'm gonna just do indicative. And then a little pieces of stone features in there, and then the main event, obviously the caryatids. Oh, I will have some more ornaments here at the bottom. Again, there will be some stones in there, and then, as I said, the main events, caryatids, representing the columns. So they will have like a top plate there, and then I'm gonna do them very sketchy, so they will have head, and long tunics, and I can see on my photo that I can see 3 of them. It's the back of the porch there in the distance. So some sort of headpiece there. Again, the flowing tunics. And the third one here, a headpiece as well. They are all similar, but they are not the same, they are all different. This porch comprises of 6 of them all together. I can only see 3. They're obviously damaged already. Some are missing arms. I think my heads are a bit too big. In the Greek standards, you need to have a head that is 8 times measured in the body. So close enough. There is another piece of architecture I can see on top. So I'm just gonna add this quickly, and I think that's about as far as I'm gonna go with my pen sketch. And now to my watercolors. Starting with the sky. So I'm applying some water to my sky, going around my maidens, although it's not hugely important because the sky is not going to be very dark, but I'm going over the view of the Athens as well. Okay, mixing some nice blue from all the blues that I've got in my palette, and just applying it to the sky, going from darker to a bit lighter as I go down. And then I'll add a little bit of green and gray to this color, just where the view of the Athens is. I'll probably change to my small brush right about now and add some lighter color there where the buildings are, but I will probably need to go back there and maybe add a little bit more detail, or maybe I'll decide not to, so we'll have to wait and see how everything else looks once we finished here. Okay, so now I'm changing to my architecture. So again, I need to mix a stone looking color, some sort of browns with a little bit of grays, maybe start with a little bit warmer colors, and I'm just gonna do the same as I usually do. I'm not putting water on this first, but I'm putting quite a diluted layer of this base color all over, and so I'm going to be using this as my wet on wet basis. And I have a little bit of a run-in situation with the sky, which is not a big deal, but I'll try to remove it. And now, since I'm here, I'm just going to finish with a bit of foreground here, some more stones, and a little bit of the green in here as well, starting with the light color, and then I'll add a little bit of a of a shadow there as well. And now I want to mix quite a dark color for the shadows behind the maidens. And while I still got my big brush out, I'm just going to apply it because it's quite a depth there of this porch, so we will see quite a dark color. Okay, so now I'm just gonna leave this to dry a little bit, and maybe finish off some of the greenery here at the front. Just add a little bit of a darker color here, and also this bush at the back. And just leave this to dry. Now I can probably go back a little bit to my vista. And just add a little more of the detail there, but not too much. I want it still to be quite far in the background. Okay, leaving it like this for the time being. Maybe just add a little more of a gray here to the stone at the front. It's probably a bit too dark, so I'll remove a little bit of color. That is okay. And now I need to go back to my statues and add some shadows to them. Adding a little bit of red. So I want it to be a little bit cooler, so maybe I'll go towards the kind of purple-ish. Thinking about the sun and how the shadows are gonna work. It's quite approximate anyway, but I want it to be a somewhat recognizable. And going from top to towards the bottom. Going to do a little bit of the shadows on the caryatids. So just lightly applying some shadows representing the folds on the fabric and just a general light and shade situation. And now going again down from there, some of the reliefs on here. Some more texture to the stone, and the cracks in between. Maybe making the color a little bit darker and some texture on the stone. And going again down from there, thinking about light and shade again, about cracks in the stone. It's maybe a bit dark. The top of the steps is going to be lighter than the thread, so the going is going to be lighter because the sun can reach the horizontal surface but not so much the vertical one. There we go. And also a little bit here at the stones here. And we also have quite a significant shadow on those back steps, so I'll try to do that. Okay, we could probably do with a little bit more of the dark there to make them a little bit more contrasting against the darker background. And that's about it. I think I'm just going to leave it here.